Hi everyone, it's BDevine here, and welcome to another edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Love and Relationship. Now, I have a question here from somebody that just wants to remain anonymous, but it seems like the sort of question that perhaps you might go to a psychic about, and it's just something that I wanted to bring up briefly. And anyway, the question is, how do I know that I have met my soulmate? How do I know that the partner I'm with is the one that I'm supposed to be with? And the simple answer to that is that you just know. And when someone said that to me once in my life, I could have just about screamed when they said, "Oh, you just know." I thought, well, how come I haven't, how am I going to know that it's real? How am I going to really believe what you're saying to me? I mean, how will I know, obviously? And the thing of it is, when two people are meant to be together, there is a very, very strong connection right from the start. You both have the same interests, you both have the same goals, as in relationships. So, if you're ready for a relationship right now, so is that person. If you want to get married, so will that person. When you are with the right person, there's not going to be too many things that are out of whack. Of course, nobody's perfect, but there's not many big things that are standing out that are, going to be going wrong for you. A karmic relationship can be as equally strong, the connection between you is very, very strong. However, you'll notice that there are many, many things that make you get puzzled about the person, or you won't understand, or perhaps you see an angry side to them. Maybe it happens when they're drinking, or you don't like the way that they act around their friends. You don't like that they don't spend enough time with you. You don't like that they're a different person at home than when they're out. You don't like the jealousy and all these little things. But underneath it all, they're a really great person, and there are many, many people that are almost right for us. And it does pay to wait and have the right, manifest the right person into your life. So how do you know when you are with a soulmate? You will know, your whole self will resonate. There will not be one part of you that has to go and see a psychic and has to say, "Oh, is this the one?" Although there are, some exceptions. So if your boyfriend or girlfriend is not violent, have basically the same interests as you, and is a lovely person sort of all round, but there's something that you can't shake. That little something is something, and you need to pay attention to that. Don't think that after a while it'll go away, or once you've decided that you've gone over this hurdle, then they will go over the hurdle with you. Don't think that it has to be, if there is a problem, if there is something wrong between you and you can't put your finger on what it is, please just listen to that, because it's telling you not to go further. There's something about them that's hidden, or there's something about them that you're not certain of. And I'm sure that there are many other psychics that do readings that are listening to this, and we've all heard it before. Oh, but what can I do to change the person? And you can't do anything to change the person. You can be the most wonderful person, the richest person, the most famous person in the world, and someone will still not be right for you, or someone will still think that they can change you, or it doesn't add up. Why do you think that so many people, especially celebrities, for example, there's something there in the beginning, they both enjoy each other's company, they both, like the limelight, and then suddenly one might be getting more attention than the other, and suddenly, there's all problems. But in the beginning, every single person, I don't care what anyone says, you always know right in the beginning. It's just that you ignore it. I guess that's the point that I'm getting at. Don't ignore those little feelings. This is also, obviously, myself have not had the most perfect relationships for a long, long time, and there would be one thing or another, and I would ignore, and I would do all the work, and always try to keep that person happy or on an even keel. And then in the end, I just started to think about all the things that I'd done, and still nothing had changed. And so the resentment builds up. You end up looking at that person in the morning and just wanting to put a pillow over their head. Not really, but that sort of you know, you get really, really frustrated with the other person, and you know, you know what you want, and that person is not giving it to you. So these are the things that you need to really listen to yourself with. Don't just accept anything, because you will kick yourself later when it turns out that, you know, they didn't want you anyway. Just also, you know, older people. I know a close family member was seeing somebody for a very long time. And, you know, because she's older, she thought, oh, well, I'm older, who's going to want me? And this guy was significantly younger than her also. And he never showed any interest in her life. He gave her money and things like this, but he didn't show her, you know, love and attention and caring. In fact, she was always giving it to him. And of course he was thinking, well, this is easy. All I have to do is sit back and, you know, I can treat her however I like, and she's available to me whenever. So you got to, you know, it ended up being that she gave away a lot of her family members and pushed them aside and did everything for this guy, and then he turned around and left her anyway, and there's no going back. So, you know, you don't waste your time on somebody who is just taking everything from you, and for that little time when they are really lovely to you or they are really kind to you, because it's just not worth it. You know, you're going to look old. You know, for example, say you're 20 years old and you stay with somebody who is abusive to you, who cheats on you, all because there are times when he's wonderful to you, or he or she is wonderful to you and tells you the things that you want to hear. So you stay with this person, you end up having children with this person, and it gets worse and worse and worse. The more, you know, obviously the more children you have, the more work it is, and they're never there. They're always with their mates. They can't be bothered with anything. They talk with you in a certain way when they're with you, and then they talk with you in a certain way when they're with about you when they're with their friends, and all of this sort of thing. In the end, you've done all of this, you've pulled your hair out, and they're quite happy going about their life. You've ended up at 30 years old, you look like you're 50, and you know, then you've got to start again at 30, and not just on your own, but now you've got a whole family. Then they've got custody battles if you got married. Then you've got very, very terrible, hurtful times where you don't know what's going on, and also you don't think that, you know, this person would treat you like that. You don't think that they would ever, they know you, right? So you wouldn't think that they would actually scorn you or be out to hurt you. But believe me, when it comes down to children, and it comes down to custody, and it comes down to things like that, there is a whole nother side to people's personalities. And, you know, there were so many times where I just wanted to, I can understand why people actually go and beat up their spouse or something, because, you know, their ex-spouse or something, because they can't control the amount of hurt and frustration that they're feeling towards that someone. It's not that I'm saying I'd condone it, of course not. Being someone who used to get beat up myself, I understand, but I can still understand the frustrations that you go through when it comes to split up time and when it comes to custody time. No one is amicable. Very rarely do you get that, a split up and then it's amicable. Very, very rarely. I mean, of course, the more mature you are, obviously, the easier it is. But when your feelings are still hurt and you're still raw and all of that, there is a lot in that. There is a lot of unnecessary pain if everybody would listen to their instincts, and the instincts are how the angels are talking to you. You know, your instincts when you first meet someone is, wow, that person is gorgeous. I really want to be with that person. And how is that person behaving when they are around you? Are they interested in you physically? Or do they want to come and have a conversation with you? You know, look for all the signs. It has to be the complete package. I mean, even when I met my husband, it just felt like he and I in the room, even though I was there with other people. It just felt like, you know, he and I were in the room, and I wasn't thinking for a minute, oh, I wonder if he likes me. I was thinking, oh my gosh, he really likes me, you know, and he obviously knew I liked him too. And so you know straight away, whereas I think about all the times I've wasted, I'd be like, wow, that person's really, really handsome, and all I was doing was looking at the physical side, and, you know, thinking they're about my age, and, oh, you know, and if they're not ready, they're not ready, and you can't force that, no matter how lovely you are. You just you know, I used to say, don't they know how good I am? Don't they know how wonderful I'd be for them? That's what I wanted to say, and it'd be like, yeah, they do. They know that you're wonderful and they know that you're special. They just don't think they're worthy of that, or they're just not ready for that yet. So you're a good person you're a go-to person. So if they ever were ready for a relationship, then you'd be the first one, but too late, because by then you've moved on. So really, really focus on things. When you are going to meet your soulmate, there is ease of everything. You have to obviously get used to each other. You know, there'll be little things here and there, but nothing that you wouldn't, you know, if you were picturing your life with this person, and you know, if you're actually going, what if they leave me? What if they cheat on me? What if someone better comes along and I'm stuck with them? If you're thinking all those things, then just walk away anyway. You can't just get into something something as deep as a soulmate relationship without, you know, actually thinking it through. Other people actually are standing there in their lifetimes. They're standing right in front of the person that they're going to get married, and they can even get really frightened of that, and, you know, start having doubts right at the last minute. And you know, you've got to be sure if your heart is healed completely, and you know what you want from your partner, you know what you expect for yourself, you know, you feel like you know what you deserve, and all of these things come together. And if you are asking your angels to guide you, they are certainly going to sharpen your instincts so that you know. You might still go, I wonder if it could be true, and get excited, but if you are actually asking, is this my soulmate? What if they are going to cheat on me? Well, then you're not ready for a relationship anyway. So guys, I just thought that I would mention those few things, because people in karmic relationships, which are very destructive relationships, and there is a strong connection though between you, and that is karmic, meaning that you have known each other in past lives. So you have to get through that into the higher levels of relationships. And a soulmate, even if it is your soulmate, it doesn't mean that you're going to actually be with that person for the rest of your life anyway. I've seen plenty of people in a soulmate relationship, or thought that they were in a soulmate relationship, and then, you know, 7 to 10 years later they both go their separate ways. Still doesn't mean they weren't soulmates, just means that they weren't going to be life partners. You know, and of course your twin flames also the next level above from that. So if you are ever standing in the face of unsurety in relationships, and you are miserable in a relationship, and you are getting hurt physically, you know, mental abuse is really, really bad. Emotional abuse obviously is very, very scarring, and, you know, those are the things that last throughout your whole life, no matter how much you try to push them aside or release yourself from those types of pains. Sometimes there'll just be a pang of that come up. Even in myself, you know, to me it's to do with whether I'm stupid or, you know, obviously intelligent or not, and whether I'm ugly or not, and fat or not. So those things always bite at me, because those were the things that were constantly drilled into my head, you know, on the negative side of it. But even though I've released everything and I'm really cool, every now and then, you know, it rears its ugly little head, and I'm like, have to push it back down again. So yes, if you are going into a soulmate relationship, you know, and you feel like you need to ask somebody, then no, it's not a soulmate relationship. It's something that might be just casual or fun, or it might just be something karmic that later on you understand why the connection was there. And it's definitely not someone else's partner. Too many people have told me that they are married, and, you know, their wife, for example, has found their soulmate, and away they go, and, you know, they're going to be very, very sad and sorry when the other person, you know, didn't want an actual full relationship. They just wanted the excitement of this person is taken, so they're safe. A lot of people want that as well. The excitement of, you know, you're safe, you're with someone, blah blah blah. And this poor woman, or usually it's a woman, although it does happen to men as well, she's thinking, oh wow, I've met him, oh gosh, this is fantastic, now I've just got to get rid of my husband and everything will be sweet. And sadly, 9 times out of 10 you are left alone and hurting and sad and feeling stupid for the rest of your life. And then the whole trust issue goes in as well. So please don't look at a soulmate as someone else's partner, because they never are someone else's partner. Just quickly, I have, let me see if I can get it up quickly. I have an article, obviously, about soulmates, karmic relationships, and twin flames. And I just wanted to give you the list of things to look out for if this is a karmic relationship. Now, a karmic relationship, as is what I've said, has some of these characteristics. The first one is a very intense attraction, so you can't stop thinking about them. The second is a feeling of nervousness when the other one is near, so you're wanting them to love you. The third one is an addiction to these are the characteristics of a karmic relationship. So an addiction to sex, drugs and drinking, which means it's non-stop party, a bad girl or boy persona, arguments and hurtful words, and this can often result in sex afterwards, and this is actually abuse. Giving up your interests and who you are to please them. You are restricted financially, this person is always taking from you. Abuse of all kinds, so that goes into emotional, mental and physical abuse as well. And monetary abuse. I found financial abuse is a huge thing, and it used to happen to me. Selfishness towards responsibility, so you have to take care of everything. This is a karmic relationship. Never letting go of past hurt, often bringing up the ex or parents. These are all warning signs, guys. Jealousy, you are not allowed to hang out with anybody, but they are. Okay, that's another good one. Rage, outbursts of anger and property damage, or slamming doors or fists through the window. Get out of there. Isolation, so this was one thing that used to happen to me. They take you right away from friends and family. So there's no contact, no work, no family, no nothing. This is really bad, actually. Isolation, if they start to isolate you, that is one of the worst things that can happen. Name calling, okay? Weight loss or gain, so that means if your weight is either going, for me it used to go right down when I was going through severe stress. Weight would go right down, so watch for your weight going up or down. They are nice to you when they want something, so they'll sweet talk you until you give in, or they'll punish you physically until you give in. That was another good one. This is another one, calling you just for sex and then ignoring you. So obviously, guys, girls, this is purely physical. This is not love. If they're calling you up for sex, they just want sex, and just face it, this sex is not love. Okay, calling just for sex. Lies, and they will lie to you even when they've been caught. Just walk away. Cheating, if they cheat with you, they will cheat on you, so that speaks for itself. Social aggression, so they hate attention that you get, and might even get into fights if you're out somewhere. Obsession is a huge one, so they call you non-stop, watches over you, smells your clothes and all that sort of thing. A lot of obsessed people, they're very good at hiding it, but if you sense something like this going on, you have to get out of there. Depression, so the other person might be depressed, and so you're afraid to leave, and they'll say, I'll cut myself, I'll kill myself, this is abuse. So part of the depression is cutting themselves, spacing out, losing reality, and sleeping all the time. Too much sleeping is obviously depression. So a karmic relationship has got some of these characteristics, and I used to talk myself out of just about every single one of them for a reason why I was still with that person. It's ridiculous. And also, if you are just going into a relationship, there are some statements that you need to look out for. And the first one is, I don't want a relationship, so just walk away. If you want a relationship, just walk away. And then they say, it's not you, it's me. Yes, it is them, so walk away. Okay, there's something they're not telling you there. 3, I will call you when I can. So that translates to, I'll call you when I've got nothing better to do. It's true. You're too good for me, don't waste your time. I'm sure at least half of us have heard that before. This is not a compliment, this is an excuse for their bad behaviour. So listen out to that one. I'm not ready for love. This is another excuse. Don't call me, I'll call you. This is also a sign of someone who may be married or in a relationship. I'm just too busy for a partner, but you're not too busy for friends. Okay. You don't really want me. Take this as a hint and run, because you definitely don't. They've got issues, see? Can't we just be friends, but only on their terms? So when you needed someone, or when you wanted help, they weren't there, but when they split up, they always say, oh, let's just be friends, and then you're left. So these are some of the things. And sometimes you even break away from these types of relationships, and then as soon as they call, you are straight back there. And it's a bad cycle, and it's hard to get yourself out, because as you get older, or as you've been alone longer, I guess I should say, the longer that you've been alone, the more desperate you might even become. You might think, I can't give this up because I might not get another one for another 10 years. So you really need to decide for yourself, first of all, what you really are looking for. Second of all, that you're asking your angels to heighten your awareness and, bring to you people that are not just lessons anymore, if you've had enough of all of that. Also, to help you heal your heart, you need to realize that, say if you've been in a relationship for 20 years, for example, it's going to take you at least 10 years to actually sift through all your feelings. And too many people get straight out of a marriage, like a long-term marriage, and they're straight in with somebody else, and then that ends up being disastrous. So take your time. The right person for you is definitely worth waiting for. So anyway, I have gone on and on and on, I guess, and I just wanted to really bring that one to you guys, and make sure that you understood that. How will you know you're with your soulmate? It is just your whole body knows. There is in other words, you won't need to ask anybody if this is your soulmate. This person will not be married, or will not be with somebody else. No. You're not going to be with someone else and then fall for somebody. No. When it's your soulmate, there are none of those things that I listed there. There's nothing that you're worried about. And also, when you are with your soulmate, you are exactly on the same path and should be spiritually growing together as well for the best type of relationship. So I hope that made sense to you guys. I will talk more about soulmates and twin flames. Also, just explain to you what the articles I wrote about were. If you have any questions, or you want to ask something in particular, please feel free to comment, or you can inbox me. I guess if you feel that you are really that unsure, and you're really sure that this person is really great for you, then go for it. Sometimes just your own little nervousness holds you back, so you've got to work out whether it's your own nervousness or your angels are telling you. And another thing is to ask for 3 signs that this person is who you're supposed to be with. Please don't just go out and leave your partner now and all of that sort of thing. Just really think about what you want for your future. And if you want to have a loving and lasting relationship, then you need to admit that to yourself and start thinking about what it is that you really want, and go for it. So thank you everybody once again for listening, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.